Well, it's possible because Justin was involved with a situation where he felt like he had to.
Yeah, hey guys, welcome to the show. Yeah, it's a bit out there, isn't it, for the lighting, because maybe I should turn the other light off, but we will get there. You can see who I am. And it's 17th of April, 2013, and it's 10:06 or 22:06 for the Navy time. Yes, as you notice, on my sign, I also have Georgie on here. Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight, so you can also look at that. But we're not taking to the US anymore, we're taking it to the world. So if you retweet this, retweet it to as many people as you can. Now, you see Georgie's number? Please include her in your retweeting to Missy Georgie Moo. Because she's a girl that needs some self-confidence to boost her mortality, to boost her way of living. Her mum has a disease, gives the spurts of temper, and has kicked Georgie out of home. I'll turn this TV down, sorry. Yeah, I'm not as prepared as I was, and I didn't have a show last night, so I couldn't. So lucky she wasn't here last night because we were in Titty Tuesday, and I've got the ones that count. Yes, there's man boobs. It's called man nipples. Now, I'm starting to get the feeling that there's more information out there than there needs to be for kids of younger years, especially those who are under 14, under 10. There's enough out there for kids to enjoy to stay as kids. Example, Ellen has two girls on there, and they're celebrating their 10th birthday, I think, soon. Gracie and I'm not sure who the other girl was. Tess, maybe? Jess? Maybe Gracie and Jess. Now, they were at the backstage of the MTV Awards. They were at the backstage, but they couldn't go to the show because the show was too explicit for them. Now, why would Ellen then have those girls being introduced to the people who would be doing the concerts on the inside that they couldn't actually watch to see? It's like putting a sign in front of a kid saying, "This is a sign to be seen by adults," but it's not. Oh, yeah, there you go. This is a sign to be seen by adults, not by kids. This is a sign that the kids need to know that it is a finger. It doesn't have the meaning behind the meaning of it. So this is a finger, and that means for anyone else who's adults, up you. But I'm still finding things on Twitter. 14-year-old girl putting on some guy's dick as a photo. It's media that we don't need to have on there. There's enough stuff out there for kids to stay as kids. I want kids to be kids. Let's get those playgrounds going. Those playgrounds. I mean, there's a playground around the corner. Why couldn't Ellen have the two girls show themselves at the Nickelodeon Awards, where the Kids Awards for Kids Awards, or go to McDonald's in a playground, advertise McDonald's as the kids meal, have them eat a kids meal with some stars, and have the stars come to McDonald's and have some kids meals with them. Then talk to them, and talk to them about shows that these people could represent as being family shows. I mean, MTV Awards isn't a good place for these girls, whether they've been at the backstage talking to the rockers or even at the front stage watching the show. It's one of those things where it's a catch-22. You either do it to improve their sellability, or is it just general exploitation of two children who need to be children? Let's get this right, and let's put these kids where they should be, in front of other kids, talking to other kids on TV. There's other child stars. There's people on YouTube you see that represent themselves as being the children they are. So let's do the same for these people that are on the internet and on TV. There's TV show. Let's go back to the stage times when we used to watch Flipper. Don't do this. You can do this. You can stay here. I haven't done any more. So my star today is William Shakespeare, and he's singing "Can't Stop Myself from Loving You," and this is him singing back in 1974 from the EP "I Can't Stop Loving You," William Shakespeare.
Thanks, love. To sing for us, I've forgotten the name of the song. It's an unusual name, isn't it, William?
Honey, love surely wouldn't be so hard to find. But now I see myself, I know what lies within. And now I realize the fool that I have been. Because I can't stop myself from wanting you. Can't stop myself from needing you. I tried so hard to get over you. Can't stop myself from loving you. I tried to get you out of my mind, but it's just a waste of time. I can't leave the man behind. I told myself something with you, but I know I needed you. I know that I do, I know that I do. I tell myself that I've been doing so well. I over and over, I've been fooling myself. 'Cause I can't stop myself from wanting you. Can't stop myself from needing you. I tried so hard to get over you. Can't stop myself from loving you. I wish there were a way I could find to turn back the hands of time. Again you'd be mine, you would be mine. Me and you, it was no future. Without your help, man, this goes nowhere. Can't stop myself. Can't stop myself from loving you. Can't stop myself from needing you. I tried so hard to get over you. Can't stop myself from loving you.
Well done, William Shakespeare. Now, William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born 19th November 1948. Yes, I'm having difficulty reading because I'm under a bit of stress, and when I get stressed, I get eye ulcers and my eyes start caving in. So just bear with me for a while. So, and he died 5th October 2010. Oh, 61 he died as. So I've got another 8 years to live before I reach that time, if I get that far. It was a stage name for Australian glam rock singer John Stanley Cave, also known as John Cave or Billy Shake. He had 2 Australian hit singles, Can't Stop Myself From Loving You, which peaked at number 2 on the Kent Music Report in 1974, and My Little Angel, which peaked at number 1 in 1975. Both hits were written by Vand and Young, who also groomed Shakespeare into a glam rocker. Shakespeare was born as John Stanley Cave in 1948 and grew up in Sydney, New South Wales. He was a vocalist for beat music group The Amazons, with Nick Barlow on guitar, Harry Buss on bass guitar, Chris Carroll on guitar, and Daley Carroll on drums. In 1966, they released the single Ain't That Lovin' You Baby. After the Amazons, Shakespeare continued performing in Sydney clubs as Johnny Cabe. In early 1974, Shakespeare was in Albert Studios, where noted Australian producers, songwriters Van and Young, ex the Easy Beats, were recording Can't Stop Myself From Loving You for another singer who was unable to reach its high notes. In other words, high note singers. Maybe they should squeeze the balls or someone just to get that high note. Kay's falsetto voice was suited to Van and Young, signed him to Albert Productions and groomed him into William Shakespeare as a glam rocker, along the lines of Alvin Stardust and Gary Glitter. Can't Stop Myself From Loving You was released as a single in July and peaked at number 2 nationally, number 1 in Sydney and Melbourne. Kent Music Report. Another Van and Young Albert Productions said as act was hard rock group AC/DC. So these people who wrote their songs certainly wrote some songs for some very famous Australian musicians and singers. In 1975, Cave was convicted of carnal knowledge with a 15-year-old girl from his Melbourne fan club. He received two years probation. He left Albert Productions in 1977 and had no further recordings. His pop music career was overdue to his conviction and changes in music styles. In 1978, Shakespeare, who had alcohol addiction and clinical depression, was treated with deep sleep therapy in combination with electroconvulsive therapy and other therapies by Dr. Harry Bailey at the Chelmsford Private Hospital for 3 weeks. From 1989, he performed as Billy Shake in Sydney clubs that generated little income. A temporary revival of his singing career occurred in 1990 with Melbourne listeners of 3MMM voted My Little Angel as daggiest song of their generation, and cover version was provided by the Melody Lords. By 2001, Shakespeare was homeless and lived in a ticket booth at an oval next to St George Leagues Club in Cogra, where he was bound and assisted by Lindy Morrison, ex-The Go-Between's drummer, a support act concerned with assisting artists in hard times. He died suddenly in Sydney on the 5th of October 2010. Many fond tributes to William Shakespeare's life music appeared in Australian media just after his death become known. So he had three hit songs. Doesn't say whether he had a family outside those he had contact with. His credits are birth name John Stanley Cave, also known as Johnny Cabe, Billy Shake, born 19th November 1948, origin Sydney, Australia, died 5th October 2010, age 61, genres, glam, pop, occupations, singer, instruments, vocal, years active, 1966 to 1993, labels, Albert and Majestic, and the Amazon and associated acts, the Amazons. Now, I know it's a sad day, a sad week. I don't understand why it happened. It did happen. The bombing in Boston during the marathon. They all said we will live on and we'll get ourselves in a stronger way for Boston to be in a better light come the future. They say they're a very hardy bunch of people, and I'm not sure how they would represent this to the future and how they can create a higher strength for themselves. Now, one of the thoughts I had was, well, if they're going to have the Boston Marathon, they're not going to stop the Boston Marathon. Maybe they're going to have the Paralympic Marathon at the same time, maybe a parathon, to enable those who have limb injuries to be shown in a light that they've beaten this. They need to show the people who did these bombs that the people who were affected for it have come back and beaten them to staying alive. Because the whole idea of this thing was to maim and to kill people. An 8-year-old boy was killed. There's 3 people killed in the bomb blast, and there were several others injured. Maiming, as in injuries that may facilitate long rehabilitation. I'm not sure how the families cope with these things, but I'm sure if I was in the same situation and my children dying, I'd be in remorse for a very long time. But at the same time, knowing that one of my kids may have been maimed or injured in a way that they need support for the rest of their life, I just hope that the American government provides that support to those people who need it to have the rehabilitation, so in 12 months' time they're shown to be walking from where they were actually maimed. We want to see stories of these people and their rehabilitation. These are the stories that need to be shown to these people that they've actually beaten this blast. They're the strengths of Boston, to show that these people can come back and do something more to show the Americans that we are able to come back with leaps and bounds. We're not tied to a chair. We're not tied to limping. We're not tied to hopping. We can still do the things that we could do before. It just means it takes a little bit longer to do it. Well, that's my say. I hope, as I say, commemorations to those who passed away, but I hope for those who survived and go on and be a greater person than what they may have been, even though they may have been great people in their own right as it was, they'll even be greater. So from me and Georgie, we love you all. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Kiki D, Anonymous. Yeah, Anonymous. It's hard for me to read at the moment because, as I said, my eyes playing up, my brain's playing up. Oh, you know what? My eyes are really that bad that I'm not even reading it right. Amorous. It is Kiki D and Amorous. There's my 20 minutes. Love you tomorrow. get you there again, and hopefully Georgie will be with us again. Bye.